In 2017 and 18, seekers from all over the globe gathered at Ghana Shantivanam, the world's largest Heartfulness center near Hyderabad in India. They came together to intensify their practice of meditation and also deepen their understanding of 10 guidelines for daily living that form an integral part of the Heartfulness movement. These 10 maxims were written in the 1940s by the great spiritual scientist Ramchandra of Shahjahanpur, affectionately referred to as Babuji. They were the result of Babuji's lifelong spiritual practice, observation of the vibratory patterns of nature, and direct experience under the tutelage of his guide, Lalaji Maharaj. Babuji offered a simple method called Sahaj Marg, or the natural path, as a means for spiritual evolution. A heart-based meditation practice assisted by yogic transmission. The sessions at Ghana Shantivanam were conducted by Kamlesh D. Patel, or Daji, global guide of the Heartfulness movement. Simplify your life so as to be identical with nature. Becoming identical with nature can seem to be an odd aspiration. It would be absurd to try and be identical with the environment around us, which is characterized by diversity. A wide variety of plants, birds, animals, and organisms populate the world. How can we become identical with all of them? Equally misplaced is the idea of subjugating or conquering nature.
When we speak of conquering the nature, when we understand that we all coexist, we follow the principle of existentialism. Say, I cannot survive in this world without all that is there. I'm part of the whole. If my eyes try to fight with my ears, the parts, if they fight, there will be a chaos. If I try to win over my body with use of hands, I think it's a mutiny. You are trying to fight against the whole. The part is trying to fight with the whole. I being part of nature, how can I say I'm going to fight with the nature and conquer the nature? It is like you are creating a mutiny.
To appreciate the true meaning of this maxim, it is important to understand what Babuji means by the word nature.
He's talking about our original nature. What was our original nature? What were we before we were set into this adventure?
It is believed that before creation there was a state of complete balance. This is known as Adi Prakriti. Into this state, the principle of God or Purusha was introduced.
There was perfect balance, and then when that balance was somehow compromised because of the will to create came into place, creation started. Babuji puts it also a bit differently, that it was this nature with capital N which became the cause when it mingled with Purusha, with God, and creation set in. Creation set in by the first kshobha or the first stir is going outward from the center.
Creation is an infinite network spreading in its own vastness. An action of unending energy. A similar network is created by the minds of human beings. We create a world of thoughts around us. This intricate web steadily grows in complexity. Desires are formed, and they seem to hold us captive. We proceed from a state of balance at the center to an exceedingly complicated and unbalanced state.
And when we try to fulfill the bodily requirements, it's nothing but going outward, from the center outward. And more focused we remain towards this periphery, we remain unstable to that extent. Have you seen something rotating? See, moment it loses the center, it starts wobbling and it falls off. It forms an unstable system. Moving away from the center is like losing a balance. When we miss that original balance, our currents, our thought currents are going inward towards. It is an opposite trend. So in meditation, we are going inward towards the center, going beyond the demands of the body, going beyond the demands of emotional fulfillment at a mental level, transcending all that. It is not that we are not going to look after the hunger of the body. No. When we have to eat, we will eat. When there is conjugal relationship, love relationship, that is to be fulfilled, it will be fulfilled. We are not against the external life. In fact, we integrate our spiritual life with the material life. Enough attention is given, enough or due attention is given to the outer requirement, but not at the cost of the inner fulfillment.
It is believed that the state that existed before creation, or Prakriti, was imbued with feminine potentiality. Even the creative aspects of nature around us are ones in which feminine qualities are dominant. Daji recalled his spiritual teacher drawing an analogy from fruit-bearing trees. The most generous trees are the ones that do not grow very tall. They are not proud hardwoods like acacia, oak, or cedar. Fruit trees bend under the weight of their fruit and are always offering their creations to the world. The feminine principles of nature pre-existed the masculine.
The series of events prove that this space principle, which is dominant in Prakriti, is far more evolved than anything that came later in the form of 4 other elements: earth, fire, water, and air.
Perhaps to regain a state of balance, we also need to nurture the truly feminine qualities within us.
The energy flow in the female is always going inward. That flow is constantly like that. Male is different. When the currents started descending also from above, there was this positive and there was this negative. There was Purusha, there was Prakriti, there is male, there is a female currents. Not that male currents, female current, not like that, but the current that gave predominance of male character. Without this polarity, the currents of creation couldn't have gone forward. It needed this polarity. And because of this, it started imbibing more and more and more. And the souls that were created because of this burst, they are still continuing. It's not that the creation has stopped. Creation of soul still continues.
Since the original state of nature is simplicity, in order to simplify our lives, we need only to remove our own complex individual network. More and more of less and less. Less and less of desires, and less of ourselves. Babuji also suggested a simple technique which now forms an integral part of heartfulness practice. Every evening, it is suggested to sit with your eyes closed and make a subtle suggestion that all complexities and impurities within us are going out in the form of smoke from our back. The vacuum so created is being filled with divine reality. Do this in an attentive and alert manner for 20 to 30 minutes. This practice makes us simpler from the inside. We surrender our complicated self to the simple, higher self.
There is a play of myself versus my Lord. Myself versus my higher self. Myself versus God. It is like ice, water, and the clouds, water clouds. They remain higher because they can float because of less weight. Density is less, and the same amount can expand so high, so much it can spread across the sky. Ice cannot, water cannot. The I-ness, the solidified I-ness will have to stay at the lower regions. Then the idea of surrender comes into picture. Now, surrender is generally taken as a sign of weakness. But when we look at it from a spiritual perspective, we see that surrender is a sign of strength. Without surrender, nothing major is possible in spirituality. Surrender is the key to simplification. If I don't surrender, then I had to fight. I had to complicate the subject. I had to complicate the situation. I had to complicate the process to survive. Once you surrender, magical things happen in spirituality. Because between myself, my true self, and the questioning self, which is a seeker, is only this ego. Once the ego is dropped, things become wonderful. So this all gives us some sort of an understanding that simplifying our life, purifying our lives is the only solution, not just to be identical with divine nature, but becoming divine ourselves.
You are invited to meditate on the maxim to reach a personal understanding of it. Internalize the words so that hidden facets and nuances of meaning may unfold within. Practice it so that its efficacy can be genuinely witnessed.